Thursday, 2005. We're at the McKinley Memorial in Canton, Ohio. See this guy going up the steps. I bet you he's counting the steps. Unlike this guy, who looks like he's probably doing running for exercising. I might be able to get 10 grand on America's Funniest Home Videos if this guy goes to the top and falls. Darn it. There goes 10 grand. Could have paid for this trip and the next one. The next one after that. Alright, I hear this behind me. I didn't realize I was sitting right in front of a fountain. They just started here, so it's noon, it just opened. Lucky I wasn't sitting a little farther down along. I've lost Kurt, he's way up the top. It's a nice day. It's in the 70s. Gives you a good perspective walking up how steep it is.
Say happens if the extraction ports and ivy open? What?
I have just counted 109 steps from top to from bottom to the William McKinley burial site. McKinley was shot in 1901. In Buffalo and died on September 14th, 1901, and Vice President Theodore Roosevelt became president in Buffalo, New York. The very large monument from a distance looks like an observatory, if you know what I mean. Except for all the details. William McKinley and his wife Ida and 2 daughters are buried in the tomb. His 2 daughters are buried in the wall. Kind of strange. This was dedicated in 1907. 6 years after the president died, when Ida McKinley died just in time to be altered into here.
Interred? Interred.
Whatever.
Not altered.
Whatever.
Not whatever. And this guy's exercising, going up, running up and down.
Sadly, some kids are not giving it the respect it should have. They were sliding down, but
sliding down. Well, life is for the living, some people say. So it's some kids are getting some other use out of here, and this, like I said, this other guy's getting some spa quality out of running the steps. So my grandmother used to say that life is for the living. Just your view from the top.
Now just stop a minute and think of all the architecture put.
All the flourishes in this doors, huh?
And just all the time and work and effort put into making this giant.
This is quite the
Normally,
entranceway.
these doors will be closed, and I'd probably make a good photo too. That's what it looked like last night when we drove by.
Right, we're inside the McKinley tomb. Trying to use the low light feature on this camera because it's a little dark in here. This is the front when you first walk in. You see quite a few wreaths here. Even though the president's birthday is when? You said January?
January 29.
Yeah, they keep it well supplied with memorial wreaths. Different organizations. Is that the Masons?
Union Department of
Company B?
First Lady. Remembrance of all veterans.
There's one for the First Lady. Remembrance of all veterans. Oh, that's right. He was also a veteran, wasn't he?
William McKinley.
It's the side view. You can see the lions.
This is the William McKinley Lodge.
Try to give you an idea of the dome in here. I think I can zoom out enough.
In case some
But-
words don't make any sense, what looks like a V's are actually M's.
Okay.
So that looks like 4 V's. That's
Just,
actually our.
Let us ever remember that over our interest is in
Conquer,
conquer.
not conflict.
Conflict.
That our real evidence rests in the victories of peace, not those of war.
Easy for him to say, but not easy for me to videotape, to move around.
Back here in the wall
Sadly, back here, I guess they have
are his months.
page 3 years and 6 months.
The other one 4 months and 22 days.
Yeah, I don't know if I can pick this up with a video camera, but I'm trying. I have an infant and toddler. Daughters that died. You can see over the front door, eagle, and this other. I know there's glare behind it. I try to get in on it without the glare. Ornate piece over the doorway. A little tighter. Seal up there. And the other side, even more wreaths.
Very sad. Really, the only one who didn't die tragically was the wife, Ida McKinley. McKinley was shot. His 2 daughters. What?
Louder, Canton, I can go there.
McKinley was shot, but his wife was in critical condition when she learned he was shot, but she survived for another 6 years. But their 2 children died of illnesses in 1873 and 1875. This is probably one of the most architectural presidential grave sites, dome-wise and just sarcophagus-wise. Just the time put into it. It's amazing. I think most of it is made of marble. Just look at the floor tiles. So bizarre. It's amazing. Even the elevator door.
So even the elevator door is fancy. There's a presidential seal Now I'm amazed that when they built this, they put an elevator in.
This rests on top of a hill, and I believe William and McKinley visited it very often. I think it said so on a sign out there. And we will see you in Cleveland, Marion, or Fremont.
Needless to say, Kurt has left the building.
That the men were so inspired by William's bravery that they were able to drive the rebels from the creek. The boys in blue were able to stop Bobby Lee's invasion of Maryland that day and preserve the Union.
Ida, it is nearly time for me to address our visitors from Illinois. Well, they have traveled all night by special excursion train and have gathered out on our front lawn.
The front porch campaign has certainly been good political strategy. Providing groups with inexpensive railroad travel has enabled large numbers of men and women to visit our friendly town. They are able to see our modest home and the way we live. I am also very happy to have you nearby, as I am not feeling well these days.
I know, Ida. My opponent, William Jennings Bryan, has traveled 18,000 miles and talked to nearly 5 million people. Well, I do not envy him all that time away from his family. My campaign manager, Mark Hanna, has the party passing out millions of pieces of campaign literature.
I think Bryan is too young and too inexperienced to lead our country.
The experts are predicting a close race. Remember that day back in 1867 when we met? I had just come to Canton at the urging of my sister Anna. She said there were more opportunities here for a young lawyer. I was at the church picnic when I saw you looking radiant in your white dress and asked my friend to arrange an introduction and nodded as we made our way to our separate churches. Finally, I began to court you, and in my heart I knew our marriage was meant to be.
Our lives together have been an adventure.